Let's do something a little different. We're going to freeze time and zoom in on a single 24-hour period across the entire planet. Saturday, August 23rd, 2025.
It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer is just incredibly complex. In just one day, all these different threads of human life, the joy, the tragedy, the conflict, the ambition, they all get woven together. So let's take a look at what that picture looked like for this one day.
And what you're going to see is a world of these wild contrasts. We're talking about everything from massive humanitarian emergencies and political power plays to national celebrations and the absolute thrill of top-tier competition. This is our planet, all in a single day.
Okay, so let's start with some of the tougher headlines from that day, where human hardship and, well, the power of the state were really on full display.
Over in Gaza, aid agencies made it official. They declared a state of famine, blaming it on long-term restrictions on food getting in. So you've got this complete clash of realities, right? On one side, you have humanitarian groups sounding this catastrophic alarm. And on the other side, Israel's government is flat out denying there's a famine at all, and even hinting that more military action could be coming.
At the same time, in the U.S. Capitol, the Trump administration was seriously ramping up its enforcement actions. Armed National Guard troops were deployed all across Washington, D.C., and that led to hundreds of arrests. The administration said its goals were to fight crime, homelessness, and immigration issues in the city.
And that deployment, it's really just one piece of this much bigger, kind of messy political puzzle playing out in Washington, and it involves some of the administration's most famous and infamous figures.
Yeah, a huge political firestorm got kicked off by an FBI raid on the home of John Bolton, who, you'll remember, went from national security advisor to being a really loud critic. And this raid is all part of a bigger investigation into how classified documents were being handled.
And you can just feel the political tension here. President Trump came out and publicly said he knew nothing about the raid beforehand, but in the same breath, he called his former top aide, John Bolton, unpatriotic. So you have this situation where the official story clashes with these really personal, really political attacks.
And it wasn't just the Bolton raid, right? August 23rd was packed with all these other big moves from the administration. We're seeing the government jump into the private sector by taking a 10% stake in Intel, but at the same time, it's stripping back union rights for its own federal employees. You throw in the release of those Ghislaine Maxwell transcripts and a new FEMA rule, and you've got a day just jammed with decisions that affect everything from big tech to how you get aid after a hurricane.
But okay, so while all that drama is unfolding in the U.S., let's jump halfway across the world, where the story of the day could not be more different. The focus here totally shifts from political infighting to a story of global and even cosmic ambition.
We land in India, a nation that on this day is really projecting its economic and scientific muscle onto the world stage.
So on this day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was front and center at the Economic Times World Leaders Forum. His keynote speech to a room full of global heavyweights was all about global economic strategy. It was a really clear signal of India's ambition to be a major, central player in the 21st century.
And get this, August 23rd is also a huge day of celebration. It's National Space Day in India. It's a day to honor the incredible journey of its space agency, ISRO, which went from really humble beginnings to becoming this absolute powerhouse in space exploration. It's just an amazing story of ambition.
All right, so from national ambition, let's switch gears one last time and talk about a totally different kind of drive. The raw, focused energy of international competition, where a fortune can literally be made or lost in a single game.
So check this out. In Atlantic City, the best pool players in the world are battling it out for a top prize of $100,000. But then, just a short drive away in New York, the U.S. Open for tennis is happening on a whole other level. Each of the singles champions, they walk away with $5 million. And even that, believe it or not, is just a slice of the total prize pool for that one tournament. A record-breaking $90 million. I mean, the scale of it is just hard to wrap your head around.
So here's the crazy part, right? On the very same day, the name U.S. Open means two completely different things. In one city, it's a pool championship with a $500,000 prize pool. In another, it's a tennis grand slam with a $90 million purse. Same name, same day, but just worlds apart.
So, we've seen it all, right? Crises, politics, huge celebrations, intense competition. It kind of feels like we've covered the whole spectrum of human experience.
But there's always something else, isn't there?
Every single day, no matter what we plan or watch, also holds those moments of just sudden, unforeseen tragedy that cut through everything.
Or this very same day, far away from the big headlines and the stadiums, a chartered tour bus crashed in upstate New York. At least 5 people were killed, and one of them was a child. It's just a devastating reminder of how fragile life is, underneath all our big plans and our daily dramas.
And that brings us right back to where we started. Famine and space exploration, political crackdowns, and multi-million-dollar tennis matches. A tragic accident on a quiet road. All of this happening at once. So what does this 24-hour snapshot truly tell us about the state of our world? That's definitely something to think about.